it's April here, bringing you another episode of Rescue and Recreate, the series where I take a TLC American Girl doll and basically turn her into a brand new doll. If you watched the previous episode, you will know this week's theme is supernatural. The first 11 suggestions I got are a water sprite fairy, 11, Catherine Pierce, Elsa, the Wicked Witch of the West, Maleficent, Sabrina, Asuka Tano, Sakura, Edward Cullen, and Wanda Maximoff. And the fan favorite for this episode is 11 with the total of 4 votes. If your suggestion didn't make it on the wheel this time, please don't feel discouraged. You can ring the bell below to get notified as soon as I post new videos, increasing your chances in the future. Now let's spin this wheel. It has landed on Catherine Pierce from Vampire Diaries, who is played by Nina Dobrev. 11 has been added to the fan favorite wheel again. Catherine Pierce is a 500-plus-year-old vampire in the Vampire Diaries, and luckily there is a number of flashbacks in the episodes giving me several period outfits to choose from. I finally decided on this one as I feel it is one of her more iconic costumes. I think for the face mold I want a light-colored Josefina mold. So our base doll is a Truly Me number 53. She has brown eyes, which is perfect because Catherine has brown eyes as well. She is missing some lip paint and has various marks on her vinyl parts, including a very large pink stain on her legs and on the upper part of the foot. She is probably the worst packaged doll that I've ever received. Luckily though, she does seem to be unharmed, so let's get this wig off and we can get started cleaning her up. For cleaning her, I am going to try these magic eraser sheets for the first time. I haven't seen them before, but apparently they've been out for a while now. But you get a lot more for the money, and I thought they might actually be easier to use on all the curves and crevices. And I was right. It is so much easier to use these, especially around the fingers and the face. With the basic cleanup done, I'm going to start acne treating her leg by adding acne cream with 10% benzoyl peroxide to the stain, wrapping it in saran wrap, and placing it under my UV/heat lamp. And we will check back in on it later. After I got my list together, I headed off to Hobby Lobby. Please allow me a moment to interrupt to say we are less than 70 subscribers away from the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and in honor of today's episode, I will be adding this doll-sized necklace. So if you aren't already entered, be sure to do so using the Google entry form in the description below. And in addition to the giveaway, I will also be doing my first ever Q&A, so if there's anything you would like to know, please let me know in the comments below. I believe I have everything on my list except for boning, which I ordered from Amazon because, well, I forgot to look for it. But we can get started on the dress in the meantime. To get the green lace, we will need to dye it. I went to ritdye.com color formulas and picked out this color called Mermaid's Tail. I'm using the stovetop method that Rit Dye recommends for nylon fabric. I add 4 cups of water and 1 cup of vinegar since the lace is 100% nylon, 1 teaspoon of Dawn dish soap, and I will bring this to a simmer before adding my dye. I add 2 teaspoons of Kelly green and a 1/4 teaspoon of tan. According to the instructions, the fabric should be moist before adding it to the pot of dye, so I went ahead and dipped it in water and wrung it out before placing it in the pot. I left the lace in for 25 minutes, stirring constantly. I rinsed the lace thoroughly and hung it up to dry. In the meantime, Catherine has pierced ears and this doll doesn't, so I'm going to need to do that. I'm going to start the hole using an awl, then I'm going to drill it using a 5/64 drill bit. Then I will finish by pushing the awl into the hole again before inserting an AG earring. I'm just going to use plain post right now, and I will add the dangle earrings later. For the skirt part of the dress, I will be using my own circle skirt pattern, as you can see it here. Next, I will need to add this pleated trim. I cut strips of fabric 3 inches wide, I rolled hemmed one edge of the fabric, then I made a pleat board for 1/4 inch pleats. Then I got busy ironing the pleats. And let me just say, I now have a new appreciation for pleats. Once I had enough pleated trim, I pinned it in place and then I sewed them to the skirt. For the gathered trim on top of the pleats and the lace, I will be using this ribbon. Now let's check back in on our leg, and after over 36 hours under the lamp, the leg stain is finally gone. Yay! Now we're ready to do some face-up work. I removed her factory eyebrows with a little acetone, and now I'm going to add some new ones with a black watercolor pencil. Then I decided to take a break from her face and start working on the bodice of the dress. For this, I'm using the Bella Rose pattern by Dollhouse Designs, although it will be modified a little bit to make it more off the shoulder. And I'm using the sleeve pattern from this pattern, the Nymphia Skirt and Top Set by Buzzing Bee. With the bodice done, I decided to go back and work on her face some more. So for the blush, I removed what was left of the factory blush using a bit of acetone before adding new blush using light pink watercolor pencil. I'm mainly applying this to the apple of her cheeks to try to make them look more defined. While I have pink out, I am going to go ahead and add some to either side of her chin in an attempt to make it look more prominent. Please allow me a moment to interrupt to talk about the next episode of Rescue and Recreate, where the theme will be villains. So if you can think of a villain you want to see made into an American Girl doll, let me know in the comments below. For her lips, I added 2 coats of watered down acrylic paint mixture. Once they were dry, I added detail lines. The final step for the face-up is to seal using Mr. Super Clear. To give her dress the right silhouette, I will need to make a hoop skirt, and this is what I needed the boning for. I got this 12mm in-case boning from Amazon. I have never made a hoop skirt before, so it was kind of a trial and error process. I didn't have a pattern for it. To begin with, I did start cutting the ribbons like really short and only connecting one hoop at a time, and then my brain finally woke up and I realized I could just run longer ribbons and connect all of the hoops to those. So that's what I ended up doing. For her necklace, I couldn't find the exact match for the pendant, so I plan on using this one instead. I'm going to paint the edges around the silhouette blue to better match Catherine's. I'm using a fine tip brush to apply watered down light blue acrylic paint mixed with glossy Mod Podge. For the additional details of the necklace, I got these bead toppers. They need to be flattened before I attach them to the pendant, but it's nothing a hammer can't fix. The last part of the dress is this drapery that goes around the front and the back, and I didn't follow a pattern, I just more or less eyeballed it. Oddly enough though, it was one of the more difficult and frustrating parts of the dress. But maybe I overcomplicated it. I was running a little low on fabric, and I guess that added a little more stress to it as well. Although, I think now that I have made it and learned from some mistakes, it would be a lot easier to make another one in the future. Here is the new wig. I bought this one a while ago off Amazon during a sale, and I finally get to use it. I'm going to separate some of these curls and style it. I took her pictures while visiting my parents in the country. Here is her before and after, and here she is next to Catherine. At this point in time, I usually ask if you're interested in purchasing my creation, and if so, there's a link to my eBay shop below. But honestly, I'm not ready to let her go, and I don't know if I ever will be. So if you were hoping for that, I am sorry, and please forgive me. Well, that is all I have for you today. If you liked that video and would like to see more like it, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I hope you have an adorable day.